Hi, good morning. Thank you all for joining me today. You're very punctual. I can see a few more people that are joining, so we'll wait just one more moment and then I'll begin. Okay, so let's begin. Hi, thank you all for joining me today. My name is Dana. I'm a business development manager at Argentum Consultants. Today we'll be talking about our multi-submission strategy with examples of funding opportunities specific for green tech companies. But I'll start off with a brief introduction to Argentum Consultants. Argentum specializes in EU research and innovation funding. The company was established in 1999 and has since then gained experience and expertise in obtaining governmental funding for innovative technology, research, and development. We have 30 employees divided into 3 departments: strategy, business development, and consulting and writing. Our goal is to target relevant funding opportunities and to enhance participation and success in multinational research and innovation projects. Argentum is aligned with the EU Commission's goals and works closely with the different national contact points, NCPs, in order to deepen the understanding of EU directives, guidelines, and value chains. It is our objective to become the leading expert in cooperation between overlapping technological sectors in the EU. The EU's budget for the years 2021 to 2027 is 1.21 trillion euros. The EU is using Horizon Europe to boost Europe's scientific leadership, to encourage breakthrough innovation, to expand international cooperation, and finally, to form new partnerships in research, innovation, and industry. The first step in funding is choosing the right calls for proposals. When a company chooses a grant they wish to apply for, they should consider these 4 criteria. 1, the type of call. Bottom up is a call that's open to all fields of technology, whereas top down would be a specific call that's aligned with the EU's agenda. Second, the type of funding mechanism. European, supported by the EU, like Horizon Europe. Bilateral, for example, a technological collaboration between 2 countries, or a local or national funding initiative. The third criteria, whether the submission is as a single applicant or as part of a collaborative project, a consortium. And finally, the 4th criteria is that the choice should be made according to the company's needs and strategy while considering the success rate of each opportunity. Horizon Europe is divided into 6 clusters. Today, we're focusing on cluster number 6, food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. Under each cluster are many calls for proposals. Horizon Europe's 6th cluster focus on 7 different destinations, which are all intertwined. However, one can broadly say that all these destinations fall under 4 larger avenues, which are agriculture, food, soil, and waste. Putting these into action together will yield the objectives of the European Green Deal, and this will eventually enable the ecological transition in Europe. Soil is the home to different organisms which play a large role in contributing to the chemical, physical, and biological well-being of the soil. However, due to unsustainable practices and the food industry, 60 to 70% of EU soils are exhausted and unhealthy. They are non-renewable and a threatened resource not only in Europe but globally, and the effects of climate change are putting further pressure on this key resource. The Soil Health and Food Mission intends to support Europe's path to sustainable soil management as part of a wider green transition in urban and rural areas. The mission's goal is to establish 100 living labs and lighthouses to restore soil fertility and to lead the transition towards healthy soils by 2030 for food, people, nature, and climate. Just to put things into context, here are a few calls for proposals under the title of biodiversity. The first is innovations for soil improvement from bio-waste. This call aims to develop and optimize ways to use bio-waste while reducing its discharge into landfills. As you can see here, the project budget, that's the budget per project, is 3 million euros, a deadline coming up in September. There is a single stage submission process. And the next call listed here is soil biodiversity and its contribution to ecosystem services. That by 2050, all soil should be chemically, physically, and biologically healthy. You can also see here that there is a project budget this time of 8 million euros, also a deadline of September, also single stage submission. The third and last call under the biodiversity title here is monitoring, reporting, and verification of soil, carbon, and greenhouse gases balance. This focuses on carbon in farming, how to make the carbon cycles more sustainable, how to remove as much of it as possible from the farming procedure, and enhancing carbon capture in plants and soils. Also here, the project budget is 7 million euros with a deadline of September, a single stage submission. On the next topic of waste, also under Horizon Europe, these calls are part of the zero pollution action plans for air, water, and soil. And the objective is to find scalable and innovative solutions that would lead to the elimination of pollutants in waters. In the first call, the aim is to find innovations that monitor and eventually lead to the reduction of litter, plastics, and microplastics from rivers in the EU. And you can see here a 10 million euro budget, also deadline September, single stage submission. The next call topic listed here, maximum valorization of sustainably sourced bio-based feedstock in multi-product, zero waste, zero pollution biorefinery. This also targets zero waste, and there's another one listed here. I'm not going to read out everything, but you get the gist. This project budget into the millions. All these deadlines that I have here are September, but there will be more deadlines also under the green tech topic coming up. Under the title of food, this is also one of the themes where current models of food production are highly unsustainable and rely heavily on finite resources. So here, as an example, there are two call topics. The first one is improving food systems sustainability and soil health with food processing residues. This has a project budget of 7 million euros, as well as a deadline in September and a single stage submission. I'm moving along to a different funding mechanism, the EIT. There are multiple innovation communities under the European Institute for Innovation and Technology. Funded by the EU, each community has different sectors, and here there are three relevant communities. The three that I'd like to discuss today are Climate Kick, raw materials, and the food communities. EIT Climate, currently with 8 open calls, supports innovation that helps society mitigate and adapt to climate change. It's believed that a decarbonized, sustainable economy is not only necessary to prevent catastrophic climate change, but presents a wealth of opportunities for business and society. The next is EIT Raw Materials, and the mission of EIT Raw Materials is to enable sustainable competitiveness of the European minerals, metals, and materials sector along the value chain by driving innovation, education, and entrepreneurship. And finally, EIT Foods' 6 innovation focus areas include protein diversification, circular food systems, digital traceability, sustainable agriculture, sustainable aquaculture, and targeted nutrition. The common denominator of these communities is fostering innovation, education, and entrepreneurship to sustain sustainability, mitigate climate change, and accelerate the transition to a zero carbon economy. And the focal point of the EIT is that it offers a platform in which it is possible to do these things. The LIFE program is the EU's funding instrument for the environment and climate action. Since 1992, LIFE has financed over 5,000 projects, and the overall budget for the LIFE program for years 2021 to 2027 is 5.4 billion euros. Twice during the 7-year period, LIFE will publish multi-annual work programs. These will include details on funding allocation, types of projects, co-financing rates, submission and selection procedures, including award criteria and call for proposal timelines. And there are 4 sub-programs. The 4 sub-programs here are nature and biodiversity, circular economy and quality of life, climate change mitigation and adaptation, and clean energy transition. There are 5 main goals for the LIFE program. The shift towards a more sustainable, circular, energy-efficient, renewable, energy-based, climate-neutral, and resilient economy to protect and restore and enhance our environment, to halt and reverse biodiversity loss, to stop the degradation of ecosystems, and to encourage and support green ideas from both large and small companies, NGOs, public authorities, citizen groups, and academia. The LIFE program will help the EU reach its European Green Deal ambitions by protecting, conserving, and enhancing nature across the continent, safeguarding the health and well-being of its citizens, and transforming the EU into a fair and prosperous society with a modern, resource-efficient, and competitive economy with zero net emissions by 2050, and where economic growth is separate from resource use. Here we're discussing PRIMA, the Partnership for Research and Innovation in the Mediterranean area. As you can see, the project budget is 2 to 4 million euros. It is a consortium of at least 3 entities from 3 different countries, and there is a 2-stage submission. It supports different levels of technological readiness. And there are 4 themes to PRIMA. Farming systems, food value chain, water and management, and the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus. What's interesting in terms of eligibility of the countries, there are 14 countries in the Mediterranean area that are eligible to apply, as well as Slovenia, France, Germany, Croatia, and Luxembourg. Another, also under the Eureka umbrella, is Eurogia 2030. There are 15 countries that are eligible, but in this case, you must check with your national contact point regarding budget and eligibility before applying for the grant. And here with Eurogia, the funding focus is carbon-free energy supply, green mobility and smart cities, smarter housings and constructions, and bioresources and environment. The Eurogia 2030's program intent is to address issues in the energy market in order to bring about its 5D strategy: decarbonization, democratization, digitalization, deregulation, and decentralization. Eurogia 2030 is on the front line in the energy field to achieve carbon neutrality goals. Now I'll speak about a few bottom-up calls. Under the European Innovation Council, there are 3 EIC calls: EIC Accelerator, EIC Pathfinder, and EIC Transition. You may be familiar with these. They are very popular and well-known funding mechanisms. The EIC Accelerator involved itself into important and very competitive funding program for European SMEs and startups. It's part of the EIC pilot that supports top-class innovators, entrepreneurs, small companies, and scientists with funding opportunities and acceleration services. As an EIC Accelerator grant recipient, you'll gain visibility and boost your chances of success in European and international markets and benefit from a range of business acceleration services. The EIC Accelerator supports high-risk, high-potential, small and medium-sized enterprises and innovators to help them develop and bring into market scientific discoveries, technological breakthroughs, high impact and innovative products, services, or business models that could create new markets or disrupt existing ones in Europe. The EIC Pathfinder targets the realization of an ambitious vision for radically new technology with potential to create new markets and/or address global challenges. The EIC Pathfinder supports early stage development of such future technologies. Next is the EIC Transition. It's a new track under the EIC work program that bridges between the EIC Pathfinder to the EIC Accelerator. The EIC Transition funds innovation activities that go beyond the experimental proof of principle in laboratory. It supports both maturation and validation of novel technology in the lab and in relevant environments, as well as the development of a business case and a business model towards the innovation's future commercialization. The expected outcomes of the EIC Transition Challenge project are a technology that is demonstrated to be effective for its intended application and a business model or business plan that from its development to market. Another bottom-up call is Eurostars, also under Eureka. Eurostars is a joint program co-funded by national bodies from 36 countries and the European Union. The focus of this program is the support for international collaborative R&D performing SMEs and projects working on a marketable product, process, or service. And you can see here the upcoming deadline is September 15th. There is usually one deadline per year. There is up to 500,000 euros per participant, and this requires a consortium of minimum 2 participants. Eurostars is not only part of Eureka, and they also offer bilateral programs for funding, which are country-specific and differ from one country to another. It's important to add that Eureka is open to some countries that cannot usually apply to EU grants, such as Argentina, Canada, Monaco, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, and Switzerland. So that's it for today. I've talked a lot, given you a lot of information. I wanted to thank you for listening in today. Later on, my marketing team will send out an email with links if you'd like to schedule a meeting to talk to me about your company to explore eligibility. I'd be happy to do that. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I wanted to thank you again for your time today.